Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Velvet Sugar Podcast, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe so we can get our numbers up for the algorithm, guys. We're in it. We have a really good episode for you.
We're going to talk with legendary porn film producer Vilan Trub.
He looks like
We're going to talk about what movies he'd make if he had he's not a porn producer, if he had $1 billion.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about making movies, what they're like, where the industry's going.
Yeah.
Dealing with wonderful actors,
Yeah.
dealing with not
Which
so good
actor
actors.
he wanted to punch in his throat.
The ins and outs of the movie industry.
Yes. And like you mentioned where it's going.
Stupid actors who forget their lines.
Dum-dums.
Dum-dums.
Working with comedians. Why he think we're either the greatest or not the greatest.
That and everything in between.
Yeah.
Join us.
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. The Velvet Sugar Podcast, man. But you don't want to miss this one. Welcome back, folks.
Hey.
This right here is episode 29 of the Velvet Sugar Podcast.
So 29.
You're welcome.
And we have a very special guest.
Very special guest.
Should I do the intro?
You
He
do it,
is
man. Do it.
he's a gentleman who
Eastern European to Eastern European. I'm just a regular Caribbean guy. Shit. Okay, just rob me out of that.
you could do the intro.
No,
if
go
you
ahead.
want.
No,
You sure?
Yeah. You guys
All right.
have a Slavic connection.
So he is how do I ruin this intro? I already feel like I ruined it. This gentleman I met a few years ago. I did a short film for him through another guest of ours, Andrew Steiner, that had me on his short film.
Shout out Andrew.
And shout out to Andrew Steiner. And then he is a director, a producer, and he is the director of the movie that David and I star in that's soon to be coming out called Mamochka, coming out in a few months.
Yep.
Vilan Trub.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
The applause definitely brings up the level.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure to have you here. We worked for the past, I want to say 13 months, 14 months.
Yeah, it's a long journey, and I just want to say it's also interesting, being here and hearing the conversation because we're all friends. So the way we talk is totally different. Whereas now it's like I feel like I'm doing Tom Brokaw or something.
No, just do what we normally do.
But
I'll use my interviewer voice like this, Vilan.
No, it was a great time, and Alex is actually a producer on the movie. Him and Andrew, who was here before on the show, because I definitely wanted to work with a lot of comedians. I feel comedians are the last true artists. The way actors used to get started in theater, there used to be, people used to go to just like people used to go to movie theaters. People used to go to the theater. They used to be everywhere, but that's not the case anymore. So comedians, that stage time is sort of like the last place where anyone can just sharpen their teeth with live performance. Plus, you're generally laid back and you're funny. So when you're working with someone on a movie, it's a very intense relationship for a very specific amount of time. Right. So you want to make sure you're surrounded by people who aren't gonna annoy the shit out of you. Right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm happy I was able to work.
I disagree. I think professionally trained film and theater actors are much more easygoing and laid back than stand-up comedians.
Which leads us to our first question, Vilan.
We'll get to that question in a minute.
You
I
sure?
don't want to surprise him yet because it's. I think it's a segue. But no. Can we also plug Trub Film Company?
Yes.
Check that out, and that's going to tell you guys when the movie comes out. We got distribution for the movie.
We did. Thank you for going into that. I was getting nervous. I thought it was going to be like, this is your life. You're going to have like an actor walk out from backstage like this son of a bitch.
Yeah. We
got distribution.
We shot through last summer, through the winter, and we finished in spring?
It took about 12 months, right? Of shooting, not even editing.
We started in April, and we wrapped realistically in like January, February, and then went fully into post-production. But we were able to get distribution. We're still in post-production, which is
amazing.
Yeah, it's typically only reserved for professional films. So we get to call ourselves that sort of category. And hopefully it'll be in theaters around here somewhere. And
but if people are watching this now, we got to plug what you've done. And Vilan has shot other movies. This is not your first rodeo. How many feature films have you shot?
This is my third feature film. Yeah.
And tell everybody what happened on your last feature film, how it went, what was it, viral in the UK on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, what happened with
It's called The Dirty Kind.
The Dirty Kind, yeah. So we did The Dirty Kind. That was my second feature. We were picked up. We screened at the Anthology Film Archives in the city, in New York City, Manhattan, which is an awesome theater. They actually house Robert Downey Sr.'s archive of his movies and a bunch of other stuff. So they picked our movie up for their new filmmakers series to screen there. And one of the producers on the movie he works as an extra a lot, and he had worked and developed a relationship with Michael Madsen. So we're able to get the movie to him, and he signed on as executive
Who's Michael Madsen?
Michael Madsen, Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, a little movie called Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
And Free Willy, let's
Kinda
not
huge.
forget that gem.
Free Willy, really? He was in Free Willy?
He was in Thelma and Louise, yeah. He has a
That
career.
dude's been everywhere. Very underrated actor.
Species, phenomenal. Oh, yeah.
Species.
He's one of those actors where when everyone's like, why does movie industry suck right now? It's because we don't have the balance. We don't have his type of presence, that sort of Robert Mitchum, that sort of, bad motherfucker, that kind of manly, tall, cowboy boot-wearing dude. We don't have that really anymore. And I'm not saying that's what all movies need to be, but he's sort of having that presence. It gives you the full spectrum of the type of people you come across in the real world.
Well, Mamochka got this big presence here. This stud muffin over here.
Well, I've told you why I cast him.
Yeah.
John Goodman.
Yeah.
I always wanted to work with John Goodman.
Yeah.
Because John Goodman, he's a big he's a big dude. He can be incredibly intimidating, or he can make you feel incredibly safe, which is a hard range to do. But he did that.
But he can do that. He's 6'7", and then his face alone could tell the story.
Yeah.
We did remember you did. I shot an audition where you're supposed to be like this creep.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Well, listen, I'm 6 foot. It's 6'7". You gotta be. You gotta learn to be like meek and quiet, and because people are afraid of you. Like growing up, like if you go up to a girl and you're like, "Hey," and you're this close, they're like, "Who's this giant? Is he gonna kidnap me?" You gotta be like, you gotta be chill. You learn to talk a certain way.
Right.
Well, maybe if you're if you're approaching girls in their face and going, "Hey," maybe that was the reason, not the 6'7".
No, my acting teacher even sat me down one time. He's like, "You notice all big guys? You're not the first big guy to come in here that's very like soft spoken at first, because you have to like tone it down when you talk to people. You can be too intimidating.
Yeah.
I can't walk into a bank and be loud.
We had
I get arrested.
I think that's more your own doing. I think in your mind you were maybe sitting on a couch or 15 once. You're like, I'm a big dude. People are afraid of me.
But listen, I'll tell you this. We did a show. If it wasn't last year, it was 2023, right? Yeah. So some guys got a little rowdy, right? Oh, we're sitting in the backs. He's already 6'7". They were trying to get him out. Here's one guy. Oh, this is just liberal bullshit. This is America. We are Americans. Alex gets up, right? After about 5 minutes of that, I'm going, dude, get the fuck out, right?
Dude, so
he
these
looked like
two guys,
he got up and he was like 7 foot tall.
They were heckling the host, and it was at a restaurant, and it was pretty full. It was like 70 people in there, and the host is trying to bring up the comics, and they got more and more drunk, and were heckling her, and they're like, "You're not funny. You're not like Bill Burr," and they were getting drunk, and the owners were like, "Hey, you guys gotta pay your bill and go," and they weren't. Yeah. And I was a bouncer growing up. Like from like 19 to like 26, I paid myself through college doing that, and all of a sudden, like I was sitting there, and it just like I snapped.
His inner
I went into bouncer mode. I got up, I was like, "Get the fuck!" I screamed.
Well, first of all, you're
get out of here.
Listen, he stretched his hand over here, and it was like 8 foot of hand just went like this. Get out.
You were the timid bouncer, of course, by the way, right?
I was actually. I'm an artist. I'm not a.
It was funny.
I just think that's an insane heckle. You're not funny like Bill Burr.
They were drunk.
Bill Burr costs a little more than
you know what it was.
Minimum.
You know what it was, because the host said to them, "Guys, could you keep it down?" They took in true white male American fashion. You can't tell me what to do.
Oh yeah,
that's how the Revolutionary War started. England was like, "Hey guys, can you keep it down a little bit over there?"
If you're a white guy over a certain age, no, you can't tell me.
But they were like, it was weird because they were like drunk on like Cosmopolitans and stuff. One of them was drinking a Cosmo, and I was like, "Am I really getting into a fight with two guys? If I get beat up by a guy who's drinking a Cosmo, I'm not going to talk about that ever again. That's embarrassing." But it wasn't like a hard. It was
You're
Connecticut.
a comedian. That would be perfect for you. You know, like that's embarrassing. That's
it was in Norwalk. It was in what?
Ridgefield,
Connecticut.
of all places.
It
where the
was
where the thugs hang out.
those were
Yeah,
like the
it's
two
like it's like a different
scariest.
planet. It's not. It's definitely not like. Even if you go to Pennsylvania, certain parts of Pennsylvania, it still feels like that New York, New Jersey vibe.
Yeah.
Connecticut, that's
gotta-
that's Massachusetts, Rhode
If
Island.
if you go to Miller, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
it certain as hell don't. I was over there a couple years. I was like, what is this? Oh my God! Let me
They're
tell
called
you.
Amish.
No, it wasn't Amish. This was at a car racing event. I was sitting there going, what,
What you didn't know what you were seeing?
dude?
In what sense? Like
it,
what were you?
it looked like everybody was a redneck.
Yeah, you get that.
In the middle,
Well,
it
it's a
was
different place,
Literally
yeah.
5 hours
It's a
outside New
different
York. I
place,
was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, it looked like Redneckville, USA, boy.
Oh yeah.
I
Once you
I
leave New
seen
York City,
one other black
And then you see
guy.
how cheap everything is, and you're like, I'm gonna get a Confederate flag T-shirt. I'm gonna pay $1.99.
Actually, I didn't even see any of those. It had a Confederate feel, but I can't recall
Which is
seeing
funny
it.
because it's north.
Which is yeah, it's great. It's funny.
so the dirty kind.
Yeah.
Michael Madsen was a producer. What was he on it? A producer?
Executive producer.
Executive
He pretty much just lent his name to give us some credibility, which helped get distribution and get in front of people's eyes.
Difference between producer and executive producer. What is it?
I mean, technically, a producer is a person who's actually working on putting the movie together. You know, hiring everyone, doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. An executive producer can be a range of things. A lot of times, it's just someone whose name is powerful or important enough that they're able to put it on the movie. Whether they get
gotcha.
you the funding or something like that. Like, that's why you'll see a lot of movies where the actors are famous enough, they'll get, like, a producer credit.
Somebody
or
who
an
writes a
executive
check or just puts their big name behind it.
Yeah, it's a little, when
Nice.
it comes to credits, it's a little, what's going on over here?
No, go ahead.
going on
We
over
talk. So, we're gonna.
Is this when someone comes out from the back?
No, yeah.
Because this would be an awesome way to whack someone out, by the way, make them think they're on a podcast.
Yeah. So executive producer. Okay, I got that. And
Just taking some stills in between. It's all part of it.
so now, what's the other question I wanted to ask you was the dirty kind. When did it come out? The dirty kind.
Oh, gee, that was, it screened, like I said, in theaters, that was in 2018.
So 6,
And then
7
probably
years
came
ago.
out like in 2019,
19.
shortly after that.
When did it start getting traction? So tell the audience, what was it on Amazon Prime? Top what? 6% in the UK.
It was something in the UK which was interesting. Which, by the way, the interesting part is when you see the revenue not come in from that because streaming just doesn't pay anything. So
doesn't pay
it's
anything.
wild. Yeah, it's insane. It's like fractions of a penny. But at the time, I just wanted to get my movie in front of audiences, especially now the way the industry went, where everything is streaming. It's sort of like same with music industry,
Yeah.
where it's not like, oh, you sign a record deal, you put out an album, you do a tour, stuff like that. It's everyone just throwing their stuff out online and hoping someone's at least listening to it.
It's just kind of in some cases it almost seems like desperate. Like like I'll put it out there and see. Hopefully somebody sees it.
It is, but the takeaway is that movie, I made it, it put out, although it didn't generate any significant money, it was seen by enough people. It did help me build a lot of relationships, like the relationship with a distributor, where now they're like, okay, when you got something next, we want to see it. So, with the next movie, which is obviously much better, this movie, because everything keeps growing and building. So now when I come to them with this movie, okay, we got a much better movie. We got a genre that's very accessible. And it changes the way you can sort of reach audiences with it. Whereas the last movie, it was like, oh, let's get it out. Okay, we got it this far. We got it in front of people. Now we have much more support, so we start at a much higher level.
All I heard is much better movie.
Yeah, much better.
That's exciting.
Much, obviously, the
I
cast.
I mean, I saw half of the dirty kind.
Yeah.
That was a really good. I thought it was a good.
It was so good, it made you want to watch the other half.
Yeah.
Before that it was Susie Q.
Susie Q, yeah. Which I still love Susie Q. I thought, the dirty kind, the issue was that we only shot it in 9 days. Because I did Susie Q, which took me years to make. It was my first movie.
Where can people see Dirty Kind and Suzy Q?
Susie Q's on Amazon. You can go on Amazon. You can go on
Dirty
Tubi.
Kind
They're
also,
both on.
right?
They're both on Tubi, which I love. The Dirty Kind was actually bootlegged in Russia and dubbed in Russian.
Really?
Which, by the way, the amount of time and money it takes to dub a movie in a foreign language, I'm like, I would have helped you out with this because for me it was just fascinating.
Yeah,
Although like every 15 minutes there's a random ad for some odd Russian casino.
yeah.
Добрый день, комрадис. Привет. Oh, you speak
Vilan
Russian.
Trub. Yes. But yeah,
Vilan Trub. Only thing I understand is Vilan Trub.
Susie Q, The Dirty Kind, they're on Tubi, free. You can watch it. The Dirty Kind, you can get it on DVD.
Hear that, guys? Hear that? Tubi,
Yeah.
check it out.
But what happened was Susie Q, that was my first movie. I had some goals at trying to make a movie before and it didn't work out. And my goal was just, I want to finish a movie. I want to make a feature-length film. I never cared about short films. I always wanted to just make feature films. So I said, no matter what, I'm finishing this movie. That's that first milestone. And it took me years, but I finished it. We got it out. It did what it did. And then because it screened in some places and it went to Amazon, I wanted to make sure I got the next movie out quick. I didn't want another multi-year process. So I filmed the next movie in 9 days. And we were only able to film
Which movie
about
was that?
The Dirty Kind.
Okay.
We were only able to
You
do-
filmed that in 9 days?
In 9
9
days.
shoot days. But tell the audience, what is
9
that?
shoot days.
What is it? That's like
No,
what?
that was 9 days in a row.
In a row.
In a row. And we only
Wow.
were able to film like 80% of the script, and it shows. You know, whatever that movie is, I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. But that was a movie about just getting it done. And that's why going into this one, there were so many lessons learned where it's like, okay, we're going to have limited days, but let's spread them out and let's break down the production in a way where whatever we're filming first is something we know isn't going to change. Because movies evolve. Once you start working with cast, characters start to develop, things start to change. You start to see the movie go in maybe a different direction. I wanted to make sure by the time we got to those last shoot days, it was the scenes where we knew we couldn't redo them. We knew it was the biggest shoot days, the most complicated. So we wanted to make sure the story, everything was where it wanted to be. So we made this movie in 14 days, but it was spread out over like, I don't know, 9 months, something like that.
14 full shoot days that were on average of 12 hours.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How do the people memorize lines for 9 shoot days straight for Dirty Kind?
Some of them did a great job. Some of them not so much. And there were some great actors that
How do
I
you
loved
blame them?
working
How do you blame them for not memorizing 9 days?
I just have
That's
methods
hard.
for getting actors to get their lines. And that's why, I don't really smoke anymore. But smoking as a filmmaker is a really great excuse to walk away from the set for whatever reason, whether you need a quick break just to mentally reset or you need to give an actor time.
So to give our kids, you want to get into smoking.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
to get into smoking.
Menthols are particularly flavorful, but so
Our big sponsor here is menthol cigarettes.
yeah.
We
David
heard
is-
Velvet Sugar.
David is
American
black.
American spirits though. American spirits though.
David is
Keep it.
black. Menthol cigarettes.
Uh,
Remember, that's.
Newport smoke too quick though.
I had to.
I have no idea about cigarettes. I don't smoke. I'm the non-smoker.
We're from Queens, so
It's a Queens. It's
but-
You look like you got
black
a
on New York City. 90% chance Newports.
smoker face over here.
it was. They're trying to make it illegal, which is nonsense. Not that I want people smoking, but
Competed for cigarettes against the Asians in Queens.
What's that?
You fought over cigarettes with the Asians in Queens, where you grew up, right?
No, not over cigarettes. No.
No fisticuffs.
With the Asians? No.
No?
No.
Oh, correct. I'm wrong then.
Never,
I'm
never.
assuming. I
so
apologize.
statute of limitation is over, so you don't got to worry about it.
Come here, little Asian man.
It's funny because you don't even realize I did this trick with you when actors don't know their lines. I say I just need a cigarette, and then I'll tell another actor quietly, "Hey, why don't you just nonchalantly run lines with this dude while I'm away?"
Yeah, we had a.
So you don't even realize, because I don't want to bring attention to it, because the worst thing you can do to an actor is ruin confidence. You need people to feel confident.
That's actually confidence.
Yeah.
That's for anything. That's acting. That's comedy. That's
If you
whatever.
put pressure on me, I probably would have remembered him worse. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I just quietly walk away. I have someone come up to you. I have them make them seem as if they want to run their lines, so it's not on you. And then I come back and you still stutter.
I actually knew all my lines. I actually knew all my lines for the movie. I was testing to see how Vilan would. As a,
You did
as a
phenomenal.
director.
I thought you were both great. And again, that's a testament. I think so many of the comedians in this movie. Comedians, people don't realize, they think comedy is, you develop a 45-minute set to do your special. No, that's not comedy. Comedy is you get whatever set time you can, that little light goes on, you get 5 minutes, the light goes on. If you're still on stage over that time, you don't perform there again. It's very, very rigid. You got to be
Can be, yeah.
prepared for when your moment, you get those 5 minutes, you better be prepared. And that sets you up, because that's what filming is. Yeah. Sometimes actors wait months, and then you show up for one day for like whatever 5 lines you have, but you need to nail them.
How would you like your coffee?
All right.
So what made you get into? How did you start becoming a filmmaker? What did you do before? Did you go to school for filmmaking?
I didn't go to. I mean, I did.
When did you know you wanted to do it?
Oh, since like high school, I was already
High school?
In high school, I was already writing. Originally, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist, but that dream was shattered when I realized I couldn't draw. So that sort of just shifted to manipulating people instead of drawings. But yeah, in high school, I always loved like writing, and I loved movies. Growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood in Queens where we had like 5 movie theaters within walking distance.
It's Forest Hills.
Yeah,
right?
Forest Hills, and that's just what you did. You went, and these were like not like the movie theaters we have now, like these megaplexes or whatever. This was like movie theaters that went back to like the 20s. We had the Forest Hills, and stuff like that. And that's just what you did every weekend. You went to the movies. Your parents took you to the movies. It was something to do. During summer, you got older with your friends. You went to the movies to get out of the heat, you know? And it's the way now people turn on Netflix and it's like, what do we watch? I don't know, find something. That's how you'd go to the movies. You'd go to the movies. It's like, what haven't we seen yet? Let's try this one. I don't even know what it is, but, you know, fuck it. Let me try it.
I think the last time I went to the movies, I saw Wakanda, the first Wakanda. Greenberg Multiplex Theater over there in Elmsford, and that is no longer a movie theater. That's now a ShopRite, and that's like 5-6 years.
Tiny
ago.
little theater.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't tiny. It was a complex.
I know the theater.
but
There's
I'm saying
a
it's
KFC
just
over there.
so. Huh?
I go to the KFC over there.
No, I don't like American KFC. Oh no, get out of here.
I love KFC.
Nah, not American. No,
love
this. No,
KFC.
no way. KFC in the Caribbean, sure. KFC here, yeah. Thumbs down. I've had American KFC in 20 years probably.
We're gonna make him break out his bouncer chops and split us up because you're going after KFC, and I'm sorry.
If you taste correct KFC in the Caribbean, you're gonna be like, oh my god, you never.
I'm sure it's delicious. Well, food in general in our country, the meat is just terrible quality. But I've gone to
Well, not
so many
all.
restaurants, I've gone to so many barbecue places, and they charge like $30 for fried chicken, and it's always overcooked. It's always dry. It's always gross. And it's based on time. How do you screw it up, fried chicken? KFC, every time you get it, you know it's going to be crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside.
I also think that's weird because you go to the Midwest and you get food, you can tell the difference even in the eggs. It's just
Oh, yeah.
a totally different taste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, Tennessee, the best food I ever had was in Tennessee.
Oh man, I was just in North Carolina. Barbecue was off. I've never had barbecue like that.
They have fried bologna sandwiches down there in restaurants because I grew up eating fried bologna sandwiches, but like I never went to
grew
a
up?
restaurant and saw it like on a menu, you know, or it's like, oh, I'll have the fried bologna sandwich with a side of asparagus.
Well, eat your fried bologna sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, no one had to talk me into it.
So you became you wanted to do it since you're in high school. You wanted to be a cartoonist, but gave it up. You didn't want to do it.
Well, it's not that I did. I was in elementary school and I realized there was this other girl there and she also wanted to be a cartoonist. And then we like compared drawings and I looked at mine and I looked at hers and I looked at mine. And you got to see the writing on the wall when you're just so far behind. Yeah. And then in high school, I loved movies, always watched movies. They used to show more movies on TV, also like Channel 11, WPIX used to always have movies. The Wraith, Short Circuit 2. And in high school, I remember there was a specific movie I watched that made me feel like I could go from just watching movies to make them, and it was Mean Streets, the Scorsese movie, one of his earlier movies. And the thing was, as a kid, you watch movies, you see Goodfellas, right? You see Casino, like you mentioned. These are big Hollywood productions. In your mind, there's absolutely no way you can, do that. Like, I was a kid from Queens. I'm going to go and make a Hollywood production, right? And then I saw Mean Streets, and I'm like, this dude's just filming in apartment buildings in the city. And I'm like, this is the same guy who did Goodfellas. And it's a fantastic movie. But it's just, he's filming in the city. Like, I'm like, I know these buildings. I know these people. He's literally just filming on the streets. It's just so low-key, low budget. Even for the time, it's still a big budget, but it felt manageable. It's like, oh, I might not be able to, at this moment in time, feel like I can make Goodfellas. Like, I'll never forget about having the talent or experience to do it. Just the ability to be on that kind of set. But I'm like, I can make a Mean Streets. I can make that kind of movie. And once you start thinking you can make those movies, and the more movies you watch, you start realizing where all the filmmakers came from and seeing their early work and how they got to where they are. It's like, well, I can make those movies. So let me make those movies, get really good at making those movies, and just see what it grows into.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a different because I took film in college, right? And it's something when you have actual film, and you need your light, meaning you can't mess it up, as opposed to being able to digitally just erase and re-record. You know what I mean? I was watching, what's that Gene Hackman movie? I think it's The Conversation, where they were.
Yeah, the Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. And it's like, that's classic American films in the 70s, 80s, with that look with film. Now it's just so different. The process is just so different. And one of the things is the accessibility.
Well, we have the death of the shot. And you were talking about film, and you mentioned I never went to film school, but I did a several-week program at New York Film Academy. And when I got there, I realized I had already done all this stuff. Like, no one there was as obsessed as I was. It just felt like summer camp for these people.
Not to cross you, but one of the film classes that we had at City College, one of our teachers, shout out to Dr. Carlson, he would have filmmakers from all over the world come in. So one time he had this guy, I think it was from Cuba or another speaking Spanish country, and he came and he said, "This is great that you have all of this set up dedicated to film school." He said, "This is wonderful." He's like, "But you don't need this to make a film." He said, "You don't need any of this. All you need is a dream in here and in here, and go do it."
You got to be a hustler.
What do you think?
I'll be honest with you. You just got to be a hustler.
Yeah.
If you could be a drug dealer, you can be a filmmaker. If you can be a pimp, you can be a filmmaker. What?
That's crazy. You didn't go to film school.
No, because the reality is, I read a lot of the books. I read all the books that they teach in film school.
Self-taught.
I watched the movies. The reality is,
Self-taught actor.
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, when I did do that several-week program, I already had film cameras. I started on film. I actually tried to sell them a camera. I ended up selling it for more on eBay. But the people I was with didn't have that hustler mentality of like, I'm going to do this no matter what.
Right.
Here's my plan. I'm going to execute on this plan. And it's... You were talking about why movies look different now.
Yeah.
When you had film cameras, every second film ran through that camera, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
Film is very, very expensive.
Yep.
So every shot you're going to film, you need to plan and know what that shot is. Right. So they put more effort into the shot list, into making that shot to make sure, like, okay, we have the time, so let's think about it. Right. Whereas now everything is sort of like, and for the most part, obviously there's still filmmakers who don't approach this, but over time there's been this death of the shot because you're filming digitally. Yeah. You film something, well, let's just film it again. Let's just put the camera, let's just try it.
Adding to that, you heard that this is a fact. Three Stooges, you know how many times they shot it? How many takes? A maximum of 2. Yeah. Usually 1. Can you imagine the rehearsal and what they did?
A lot of rehearsal, a lot of planning.
Michael Caine is like that.
That was what was it? 20s, 30s, 40s?
They were in the
40s.
I mean, they started earlier in vaudeville, but then they were in the 30s and the 40s. And you sort of have that death of creativity, and everything is so bland now. Like, you watch just a random movie, go on Tubi, watch a random made-for-TV movie from the 70s, and today the filmmakers will be thrown in jail for what they're showing with the creativity. It's
true. It's a fact.
It's sort of like music. Music became music. Everything is now bland, elevator music, and that's what movies are. And the pendulum swings. I think it's going to happen now. I think people are tired of the Marvel movies. People are tired of superhero stuff. You're going to have, I think, F1, it's already doing really well. I think it's going to remind people what a movie star is. And people need movie stars. You need those actors where it's like, oh, shit, that is the definition of cool. I want to dress like them.
But that's what
I want to wear his sunglasses. I want to wear her, hat that she's wearing in that movie. They teach us how to dress. They teach us how to talk and all that stuff. And then after that, you get the moment of Pulp Fiction, the low-budget movie that's just cool as fuck, that blows up and they realize, oh, you just need something cool to make money.
But I also think, too, because of the accessibility we have accessibility. I've seen some beautiful series on Netflix, foreign films. Don't speak any English, but they were great. Like I was saying earlier, Michael, what's his name, from England?
Michael Caine?
Michael Caine. When he shoots, he's like 2 takes stuff. Because he's like, you rehearse, you have the line, so there's no need for all these takes. So he does 2 takes and that's it.
Well, coming from my side of the camera, it's funny because everyone always talks about David Fincher and Kubrick. Like, how could they do 100 takes? They're nuts. I'll be honest with you, and this is no offense to anyone in the room, but a lot of times it's just 20, 30 takes just to make sure everyone knows their lines. Yeah. Make sure all the actors are consistently doing their lines. Then you get to the 50th take when people not just know their lines, but start expressing through the lines. A lot of times it's not like, oh, we just want to see it differently. No, a lot of times it's, okay, something that, especially if it's a complicated shot. okay, something timing was off. The rhythm is off.
Right.
You know, you're just doing it to get to, like, rehearsing a song.
Right.
You want to get to it where it feels right.
You don't want to be as a coming from an actor's point of view. When you don't know the lines, it hampers your performance, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you know your lines, then you can play.
Yeah.
Then
and
the lines
and I
serve
mess
you.
with you too.
Of course.
I'm sorry. This script, because people who haven't seen the movie don't know, but when you watch the movie, you'll see it's there's like a lot of repetition of days, like in the Groundhog Day type of way.
Yeah.
And it was very confusing for you because
The
you had
dream
to do the same
sequence,
scene
yeah.
as if it was different days,
But
multiple
slightly
times,
different.
with slightly different. But the way it came out, you did a fantastic job. Even the DP was like questioning what I wanted out of this movie. He was like, "This is confusing. Everyone's gonna be confused." But the way you
remember
did
that,
it,
yeah.
yeah. But the way you've seen the movie,
Yeah.
so you know
Yeah.
it absolutely worked. You did a great job. You know, because the
Alex,
audience is
baby,
there
you're going to be
with
a star.
yeah.
I feel like James Lipton.
Well,
I have to be
everyone loves you.
serious now.
Everyone loves you in the movie, and that's by design. Also, you're the
Yeah.
character that people needed to love because there's not a lot of likable characters in the movie. And Alex was like, "I'm like, I need to cast your best friend."
Not a lot of likable characters in the movie.
Yeah, but you came to me. You're like,
the segue.
you're like, how about my best friend? I'm like, does he live within like a 15-minute drive? Is he available? I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
yeah, you love him. He's Jamaican, I think, or something.
No,
like
you
that.
came to my house. We hung out for a little bit, and for me, that's the biggest thing. It's
Does he have his green card?
yeah, we are non-SAG though. So
I'm the citizen. Let's not forget that.
But what were you saying about like we need our movie stars like Brad Pitt and like Tom Cruise? You were
need
saying
movie
about
stars.
that. You think so? But you think you were saying right before that you said you think we're swinging back to like indie films, middle budget.
we're not.
Films of
We're not
substance.
there yet. We're not there yet. Let's just get back to the movie star.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need the movie stars. That's what makes movies. You're looking at God. When you're looking at a 60-foot screen, when you're looking whatever, you're looking at the face of God. There's something special about it.
You know what it is? Is that what we have, especially in the social media space, you have talented artists that can get you involved in their stories and their world, multi-layered, multifaceted, versus a nice ass walks down the street for 10 seconds, 1 million views,
Yeah, but
300 million likes.
listen,
today's influencers aren't actually influential. You can
No,
have 1 billion
it's-
views.
yeah.
You have 1 billion views. You will never be as famous as Michael Jackson. Brad Pitt, let's take Brad Pitt, for instance. Brad Pitt walks into any restaurant on earth. You know what his life is? He sits down, he knows without even looking, everybody in the room is looking at him because everyone knows who he is. That you're like
he's like 60, isn't he?
yeah,
Right?
you start to feel like a god because how is it possible that everyone in the world knows who you are, who you don't know? Now, an influencer with 1 billion followers sits down in a restaurant. Someone might know them, but chances are 99% of the people won't know who they are in that restaurant.
'Cause
They
there's
might have 1 billion
6 million
followers,
influencers
but no
right
one
now.
knows them. Brad Pitt might not have the followers, but everyone knows him, and that's what a star is.
Yeah, like listen, there's these guys like even Mr. Beast, the biggest one. Let's just say he's the biggest one, arguably probably is. Most people don't know who he is.
He walks into, like I said,
He's
a
got
diner.
billions of views, millions of followers. It doesn't matter.
He walks into a diner. How many people know him? You walk into a diner, Adam Sandler is sitting in there. You're going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to know who that person, and that's a
It
star.
doesn't have to be the A-lister. It could be a B-lister. People know him more than the Mr. Beast guy.
Yeah, because there's something special about it. And the superhero movies, they thought they could replace the stars with these characters. But at the end of the day, are you going to replace Robert Downey Jr.? Are you going to throw someone else into that Iron Man suit?
You know what driving right now? You know what's driving me crazy, and me and my brother talk about this all the time. The level of the industry right now, movies where they're made to remake. The remake level is out of remakes of remakes of remakes.
But they're bad.
What is going on?
They're
We're gonna
weak.
be making like the 5th Spider-Man. I can't even keep track of it.
Yeah, but not even that. The whole point of remakes was you're taking movies that are dated because the way we made movies became dated. Scarface. Fantastic movie. Came out in the 30s.
They're remaking it, right?
They're remaking it again, yeah, but they remade it in the 80s. Brian De Palma remade it. They didn't remake it the same way they made it in the 30s. They're like, let's use the techniques we have now. Let's use what we've learned about filmmaking in these, 60 years since that movie came out, and make that movie now. Otherwise, we can just show the original movie. What they're doing now is, and when you see the next Scarface remake, I guarantee you it's going to look more like the movie from the 30s than it'll look like the 80s movie, because we're going back to just filming theater, to filming a stage performance, rather than really pushing this visual medium as far as it can go.
With that, how about Naked Gun with
That looks hilarious. That looks hilarious.
What's his
remake?
name?
Yeah.
What's
with,
it?
With
Not
Leslie Nielsen was the original.
Leslie Nielsen was the
but no,
original.
you got the
Yeah.
other
They
thing,
got, I will find you in a fortnight.
yeah,
He has a
yeah.
worse American accent. Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liam
He's
Neeson.
going to play.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget Liam Neeson. Not Liam Neeson. The original one, Leslie Nielsen.
Nielsen, yeah.
He was not like a comedic actor. He was just a guy who would pop up in the movies, a journeyman, and then.
But the way when you look at that, it was so witty and silly at the same time, and it just made you laugh.
Well,
You know.
we're getting back to where you can.
But what I was
play
saying is,
again. You can laugh without, being evil.
But what I was saying is about the remakes is, aren't they making remakes just to make money because it's a good formula?
Yes.
We know the movie,
That's
like,
one for sure.
this is what me and my brother talk about. Tell me if he's wrong. He says they're remaking movies because we know that movie made money. Let's just make it again.
Yeah.
Because you want to make a new, based off of a new script, we don't know what could happen.
But that's not just remakes.
There's
That's why
risk.
do they turn books into movies? Why do they do anything? Because there's an existing property with a built-in audience, which is fine. But when you're making the movie, we can't regress as an audience. Like, you look at movies, like I said, from the 70s. You watch some of these movies, the outlandish things they were showing. And what they were trying to do was go away from a period of the 50s, and 40s where you had the Hays Code, where you couldn't show anything in movies. That you weren't allowed to show, like, people
even,
kissing
like,
on a bed
American
without someone
Couple
having
in
their
movie.
foot on it. Yeah. So in the 70s, they're like, no, that's not reality. Let's show reality. Reality is beautiful, but reality is ugly. And people loved it. People loved watching people on screen talk the way they know people in the real world talk. But now you can't show it because it'll hurt someone's feelings. But that's okay. It becomes more interesting. There's something about society where when you see something on a movie, which captures an ugliness of reality, it lets you why do we love mobster movies? Because it lets you sort of, see that pocket of society without the risk of having to actually be a part of it.
Right.
Yeah, you're living vicariously through it.
Yeah, erasing it on the screen is not going to erase it in the real world. It's like a war on drugs. Oh, that really, stopped people from smoking crack and
Say
shit.
no.
Yeah, it doesn't work, I believe in, no matter what, I believe in the importance of artistic freedom.
Very true.
Yeah, even if it's an idea I don't agree with, even if it's a philosophy I don't agree with, I would never want to limit someone from expressing it on the screen. My only rule is just make sure it's interesting. Make sure it's good. There's been plenty of movies that I didn't like because I felt like, I'm saying, and without getting into politics or philosophy or religion or anything like that, I didn't agree with the filmmaker's viewpoint. But I would never say that movie shouldn't be made. The only thing is I would wish they made it from a different perspective. Like Oliver Stone, who's someone I probably don't agree a lot with. I love him as a filmmaker. I love his approach to JFK, to Nixon, to W, the movie that he made, because you can tell when he makes a movie, it's not coming from a place of anything other than curiosity in humanity. We got very pretentious.
With that being said,
I feel like James Lipton right now with my legs crossed. Vilan,
Drinking.
with that being said,
movies, what are they? Like one of these, like,
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
questions.
Short.
what is your inspiration for? And in my best or worst James Lipton, tell us and the audience, who is the biggest pain in the ass you've had to work with? You don't have to name names.
Is the biggest pain in the ass you've ever worked with?
I can
don't
say
have to-
I won't
you don't
name
have
a
to
name.
say names.
I will say on a previous movie, there was an actor who was very difficult.
Oh, I like the Chinese food story. Is that the one?
Yeah, it's
that's
a
a great
Chinese food
story.
story. Not to name names or
So
anything. but
now this is not a movie star, famous movie star. Was he even SAG?
No.
Like,
This was
just a
literally
guy who
just an
auditioned for your
actor,
movie.
older actor who was on the movie. And I get it. You as a filmmaker, you want actors to come on set and bring their A game.
Yeah.
But this dude treated it like not just the performance bringing your dedication, but the experience as if it was, a big budgeted Hollywood movie where it's, I had him wear my hat for the character. And at the end of the movie, he's like, oh, great, I want to keep this hat as like a memento of the movie. I'm like, that's my hat, And
You
one
wanted
day
to
I
keep a
feed
prop.
everyone. I always
Love
make sure
that.
to feed everyone. So, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, easy food. There's not a lot in the budget,
Yeah, you can't.
And also, you don't, and it's also a strategic thing. You don't want people, you don't want break for lunch to be this huge production because people get lethargic. You have a lot of pages you got to film within a day. Yeah. So we're sitting there one day, and this actor's like, I'm getting hungry. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna order pizza soon. And he's like, I could do pizza, but I'd rather do Chinese. And I'm sitting there, and again, like, in my mind, I'm immediately, how many more days do I have to work with you? Because it's like you can't just tell people to get the hell out of your house either. You still need them, so you have to be a diplomat, and that's one of the hardest things for me because I can very easily tell someone exactly what they need to do in terms of my space. But here, I unfortunately don't have that privilege. I gotta play nice.
You sure that's the most difficult actor you've ever worked with? This show is brought to you by David's Loud Shoes. David's Loud Shoes. His Crocs at the Crocs store. Yeah.
So no, I asked if I could curse. Before you can say "fuck you" things, you have to have "fuck you" money.
Yeah. No, but that's part of it, man. Dealing with personalities, people. And you get clashes, I'm sure. You've never had that, right? Clashes on set?
Not at all.
That's never
Clashes
happened.
on set. If we talk about it now, people won't have an excuse to buy the Blu-ray for the behind-the-scenes commentary.
Nice.
The extras.
Right.
The real world.
Susie Q and Dirty Kind, you had like people clash on set? Actors clash
Susie
on set?
Q,
That's a normal thing.
Susie Q was different because we didn't really have a lot of people on set at each time. It was literally just me with whoever was there. I had an argument with one of the actresses once. Like, we had a blow-up over the phone, and then we immediately made up, and she was great. And even though we had that blow-up, it's not like, oh, she was difficult to work with. It just happens sometimes. There's a difference of opinion. Something happens. Everyone's stressed out. We had a blow-up, immediately made up. She was fantastic in it. The Dirty Kind, I just had an actress tell me that one guy was just kept trying to hit on everyone and was a little inappropriate.
Oh.
I had
not to connect anyone, but dude liked Chinese food. So there was that.
Oddly enough, I was in a short film. There was an Asian actress, and like the camera guy, he tried to.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine if listen, this is a real world. People want to flirt. People want to hook up. I'm all supportive of it. But there's you make your play. That's it. Don't be creepy. Don't be the sleazy dude. It's one thing to make your play and then, all right, restaurants closed. I'm gonna eat elsewhere.
Don't be a creepy bastard.
Don't be creepy. That's pretty much it.
And then didn't you have like an actress that got really sick on set and couldn't something happened? She couldn't continue on your old movie, your past movie. Like she got sick or?
Oh no, I had an actor who got cancer. It was actually a good friend of mine. Yeah, we were doing.
Couldn't continue the shoot.
He's alive. He's alive now. He's doing great. He's in the Navy. But yeah, he was a friend. Grew up with him. We were doing the movie, and then at some point he got cancer. And again, this was the movie that was just taking years. So we would film, not film for months, film, blah blah blah, and he couldn't continue. So that's the why I love being a writer, where it's the show must always go on. It's not like, oh, we have to make what we thought we were going to make work. No, how do you pivot? So I totally rewrote the script, but in a way where I could still keep his footage because I wanted him to be in the movie. Right. Plus, we had that footage. I don't want to lose that time. Right. I want to make sure we still have those minutes. So I just rewrote his character as sort of a story that another character tells in the movie, and we treat it as like flashbacks.
Nice.
Yeah, and we did a lot of rewriting on this movie as well, including the whole third act.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what movies are. It's all rewriting.
You got to go with what works. Yeah. There's filmmakers who are very strict and rigid, where it's like, this is what we wrote, this is what we have to do, and when you have the budget, like the Coen brothers, I totally get that. But I'm also a firm believer of you're working with actors for a reason. This isn't me writing a novel where I'm writing everything and I have the time to sort of work it out. If I'm working with actors and ultimately it's your face on the screen, I can't force you to be interesting in a way that's not natural for you to be interesting. I need to figure out what's your personality's best approach to being interesting and just capture that, because ultimately it's just about capturing personality, interesting personalities on the screen.
Okay, so with, as we talked about briefly, the accessibility to equipment now, than more so than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where do you see filmmaking going?
I mean, everything always moves forward and back at the same time. Technology is always going to move forward, but even at the same time, like the way I made this movie, a lot of my equipment is from the 70s and 60s and so forth. The camera is a new digital camera, but the lenses I'm using are old lenses. And you watch a lot of the Hollywood movies right now, they're using lenses from the 70s and 60s and even 50s that are just retrofitted into new casings. So
You were hilarious during the movie. There's like this. Let me just sum up for the viewers every moment in the movie. Vilan running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He just grabs something like some item. Like, you see this, Alex? This thing was made in. This is made in China. This piece of shit. This is all steel made in Detroit. Look at this. This will never. Anyway, next we're gonna go over here, and you would just give like a quick
USA.
lecture. I learned so much. Like, oh, it was all steel or metal.
Yeah,
Everything is plastic now. Not even about China. It's all plastic.
It's all
now.
disposable. It's all just so disposable.
Cheaply made and easy to replace.
I will say Japan.
Yeah, there.
The best lenses came from Germany, England, and Japan. America made some great lenses, but they got out of the game pretty early on. But yeah, so it's not just me. It's you'll have certain technology.
Right now, where are the best lenses now?
Now?
Yeah.
It's still probably, I would say, Germany. You're getting Zeiss. England with Cook.
Okay.
You know,
Germany, England,
Germany,
and Japan.
England.
Not Japan.
I mean, Japan's doing a lot. I personally prefer what they used to be doing with lenses. But again, you know, who can really tell the difference of what you're seeing? It's all subtle stuff. But the thing is, like editing, modern technology for editing is incredible. Editing film, people don't realize this. Literally, you're running it back and forth. If you want to see something, if you want to experiment, you got to do it one cut at a time. Just experiment with that cut. Editing digitally is fantastic. You can do 5 different versions in like a matter of an hour. That's something which is like, thank God for that technology. And then you get to like lenses and stuff. And it's like something that was made in 1970 is probably going to be still relevant for another 50, 100 years. You know, good glass is good glass. In terms of the actual movies themselves, I think people are going to go backwards. You know, you're going to get audiences that are going to discover a lot of the older movies and say, hey, that's so much cooler than what we see now. Let me just put that on screen, and if someone's not happy with me, if someone thinks I shouldn't be doing this, I don't really care. That rebel sort of punk mentality. So you're going to have a reverse in that sense, but because everything moves forward, they're going to be doing it through the scope of, you know, what's expected now. We have digital technology, which we never had before.
Do you have like a favorite movie or favorite 5 movies?
I used to always
Favorite genre.
I always used to answer Mean Streets as favorite movie,
My favorite genre.
but I
No,
can't
no,
say
let
favorite
him put it
movie.
first. Favorite
I
movie
can't
first.
say favorite movie because
Mean Streets.
that for a long time I would always point to as a favorite movie, but I can't say favorite movie because for me it's whatever I'm feeling that day. If I'm writing a certain genre script, I want to dive into certain kinds of movies. But Mean Streets was the movie that I still think about, which was that turning point in my life where I stopped seeing myself as strictly a member of the audience and started seeing myself as potentially someone who can make movies because of that movie. That's sort of like that born again moment in religion, you know, where it's like you have that aha moment. In terms of genre, again, I'll watch almost anything. I generally don't like musicals only because I feel they take a scene that can be like done in 2 seconds. It's like, all right, you could have done this in 3 lines and then you stretched it out to like a 20-minute song. Yeah, I feel the best musicals use music to move the movie forward rather than just have the story stop in its tracks to like sing a song and have a musical number.
But you know,
But I love crime.
That's a
I love crime genre.
Yeah.
I love noir genre, you know, like the grittier stuff.
What's an
Comedies,
example? What's an example in noir?
noir, like Chinatown,
Oh,
Fargo, stuff like that. I love comedy, but
you ever
comedy.
see the Mickey Rourke when he infiltrates the Chinese mafia in New York City? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, that's
one of my
that's a
favorite
Michael
movies.
Cimino movie, right?
What's the movie called? Though I can't remember.
It's I wasn't
There's always a
huge fan
dragon
of
in it.
It was in the 80s. This is after Heaven's Gate.
This movie is
Mickey
so
Rourke
good.
movies.
Year of the Dragon,
80s.
I think.
Year of the Dragon.
Yeah, I wasn't a
That
huge fan
movie
of it.
was no.
Yeah, and I love Mickey
I was
Rourke.
very young when I saw it.
Mickey
I was
Rourke is one of my favorite actors, and I love Michael Cimino.
I was like 17 when I saw it, though.
Yeah, it was one of those movies where I felt at that point Michael Cimino started.
Unrecognizable Mickey Rourke, right?
That's what I'm saying. He looks
Well,
like
80s Mickey Rourke. I mean, any actor will just be in a shadow of him. What he did in, Pope of Greenwich Village, what he did in Rumblefish.
Still haven't seen that.
The Coppola movie. He was just
Greenwich
fantastic.
Village, yeah.
But yeah, comedy is a genre that I love because when I watch comedy, there's never a point that I'm really watching it feeling like, oh, is this going to inspire me? Like, am I going to go off and make this movie? It's one of those movies that I can take a break as a filmmaker and just purely watch as the audience because there's something about comedy where it's if you're laughing because you can't control it. You know, a noir, a crime movie, an action movie, even though I try to always just be the audience and just try to enjoy movies the way I would enjoy it when I was 5 years old, there's still a part of you that's like, oh, that's cool. How would I do that? Or I would love to do something like that, or be inspired by that. Whereas comedy, it's you can't control. I'm laughing not because I want to do this or I'm inspired to do this. I'm laughing because like a drug hits you and you just.
Yeah, it's comedy. It's unexplainable.
It's coming to America.
Have you ever thought about making a comedy?
If I would make a comedy, it would probably be more on like a darker comedy side, like Doctor Strangelove or something. I actually wrote a script.
The script you wrote was
a
good.
script. It was about COVID.
That was funny.
Like doing a dark comedy thing on that, but it just ended up being too complicated, and I felt with our budget and time we wouldn't be able to pull it off, so I quickly wrote the other movie. But like, would I see myself making a movie like Coming to America? No. But it's a movie that I absolutely love. Like anything Eddie Murphy did in the 80s.
Anything,
Trading places,
whatever I'm doing, or you stop.
Anything.
But it's got to be intimidating writing a comedy because you're writing thinking like, is this going to be funny? Oh, this scene, are they going to laugh or are they going to look at it like if it's being dumb? Like a stand-up comedian, we write stuff and we go, oh my God, is this going to work on stage or am I going to bomb with this?
Yeah,
you don't find out till you make it.
But I can't as a filmmaker go in and make that kind of movie because when I'm filming, I'm always thinking, how is this going to work in the greater sense of the scene? How is this going to cut with the other footage?
Move the movie forward.
What's the flow? What's the direction of the scene? What's the direction of the movie? With a pure comedy, like talking about an Eddie Murphy 80s comedy, I can't be like, if I'm watching it, I'm just entertained. I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm just here watching comedy, laughing. I can't think, how is this going to work in the scope of everything else? Because for me to start thinking that way, it's going to take away from what I need from that shot, because maybe the funniest thing is not what in my mind would work for the whole thing. And I can't think that way. I can't just erase the rest of the movie and just think in the moment of what's hilarious here, what's just funny, without thinking how it's going to fit in with everything else. And you need to be able to do that for a pure comedy. You need to just let Eddie Murphy be Eddie Murphy.
Right. You ever hire an actor and then later find out, ooh, they can't act, or ooh, they're like
I've had weaker actors. I have had
you audition them, right? I've
auditioned everyone, but even when you start working on something, you can always tell, like, okay, who's the weaker link in whatever. But the key is because it's ensemble. It's sort of like a basketball team. Not everyone's going to be LeBron James, but what makes LeBron James great? I don't know what coach it was, but he said I would never trade for any player on a team with LeBron James, because you don't know how good they actually are or aren't, because LeBron James is making them better. Yeah. So what I try to do is figure out, okay, this actor maybe isn't able to bring it to a certain level, but how do I figure out at the bare core what's interesting about their character and just let everyone else play off of that? So at least we capture that.
Is it because LeBron James teaches them to like flop, so it's kind of like acting? Is that why he makes them better?
Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's the game. They keep making the game boring, and the game is boring now.
You know what I find? Even though earlier on we mentioned you pop Netflix on or Prime or whatever to just see, okay, what can we watch? And I don't want to watch that. But sometimes you get some real gems on Netflix or Prime, especially when it comes to crime drama. The British, they do it.
But what do you think about that? When you look for a movie, do you just watch a movie? My wife won't want to do that. I'm like, I'm not watching anything until I look up its rating. Because if I see 43%, I'm not watching.
You know what the average time is for people to watch a movie now?
What?
Like 15 seconds. People start and shut off within 15 seconds, and that's why Netflix even has a rule. All these studios now, it used to be you need to have the inciting incident in the first 5 pages, which is the first 5 minutes of a movie. Mm-hmm. Now they're like, it needs to be on the first page. As soon as it starts, there needs to be some crazy thing to suck the audience in, so they're not immediately in their phone or shut it off. And what sucks is some movies that have really blown me away, I didn't even like until I was an hour into it. A movie called Suburbia by Richard Linklater. I'm watching this for an hour. I'm like, it's just people talking. This is boring. But then after an hour, I realized where it was going and what he was doing. And you're like, it's not just people talking. I felt like, oh, this was me being at 22. Like, this was the anxiety. This was the stress. This was whatever. I get what he's showing, and it's like putting that mirror to society. And we used to have that because you put on a movie on TV. You couldn't, what do you have, 5 channels? You watched that movie just because it was on. You went to a movie theater. You paid the money. You watched it. And then when you walked away, you didn't judge it by the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You watch the whole experience, and no one's doing that anymore.
You know what movie that was for me? Napoleon Dynamite. Me and my brother watched it, and then I met. Did it come out over 25 years ago? 20 years ago?
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
And it was
I met my wife after before it came out. Before I met my wife, I saw it with my brother, and we watched it together. And the first 45 minutes are just looking at each other. This is the dumbest movie I've ever seen. When it ended, we were like in tears, like this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. For that time.
But you know what what
it's
we felt
hilarious.
about
It's still
it? You know,
funny.
you remember there used to be a $3 movie theater on 50th Street in the city.
We had Wacky Wednesdays on Flushing in Queens.
Yeah, we 5 minutes. We had a $3 movie theater where we'd watch like movies that were a couple months old, and we watched There's Something About Mary. It was like, oh god, my friends. I was like, oh my god, what is this garbage? Listen to me. I laughed out loud several
You
times.
can't give up on a movie.
Several times. There's Something About Mary. Oh my god, yeah.
Because we're so programmed where you're watching a movie, in your mind, you're comparing it to movies you already know. And if it's outside of that, you're like, oh, they're just not doing it well.
So
until you realize, like Napoleon, you mentioned Napoleon Dynamite. It just took you a while to realize what the style of that movie was.
Yeah.
And then once you could just relax and let that movie do what it's doing, you're like, I get it now.
Yeah,
But part of that now is one of the things that we suffer with is attention deficit. You know how many times I put a series on and I got to rewind it like 6 times because I pick my phone up and I'm on Instagram.
Doing what my daughter does, what I make fun of her for doing, looking at my phone during a movie. But what you said is scary is that now that means all the movies they're making now are going to be like big boom, more better in the first minute or two to draw people
Not even
in.
a minute.
It's going to affect
within 15 seconds.
Which is
gonna affect how they're made.
which is the social media formula because
I reject.
Content creators said if you're not interested in the first 5 seconds, that's what it is. Because I'm
stubborn. I make the movie the way I want to make it.
which is good.
You know,
Which is good.
I feel eventually everything's a pendulum. You know, just please when the movie comes out, Mamochka, check it out. Visit trubfilmco.com. At Trub Film Co. Whatever social media you follow.
You know who's like an old style of director to me that makes TV shows? What TV show was it? I'll tell you. And each one of his episodes is like you're watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Slow. Where's this going? Long, forever. I don't know how to give you more hints, but it was the dude that made Breaking Bad. Each episode was like, my wife tried to watch it. She's like, this is so slow.
That was ridiculous. That was awesome, man.
But like, isn't each episode like drawn out slow? He didn't rush the episode at all.
No, and especially the show he did after, which was Better Call Saul, which is even more so without the action.
I still remember there's one episode where the car's hopping and there's bullets on the ground, and then it just goes Breaking Bad, and then it's like, what's that going to mean in the end? They're going to reveal what that scene is in the end. Almost like Pulp Fiction style with the style of A Good, the Bad, the Ugly, like slow, drawn out.
And people still say like, oh, what are the greatest movies ever made? They go back to like movies from 50, 40 years ago.
So quickly now, Vilan, you've got a huge budget, right? You got a huge budget.
Good question.
Would you make a series for Netflix? Could you see yourself making a series?
I'm not. I don't want to do TV shows. The only show I see I could be involved in is Susie Q, the first movie that I did, showing where those characters are now. Only because I feel that would be an interesting way for me to like go back to the neighborhood, go back to Queens, and show that world. That's the only way I could really see it happening. Obviously, if someone comes to me and it's like, "Here's $20 million," I'm going to take the money and then probably plan whatever I want to do movie wise and just deliver whatever they need.
So if you had an unlimited amount of money, is it a type of movie you want to do? Like,
yeah, I have one like big dream project.
What is it?
King Coal. I want to tell the story of the coal industry, late 1800s, early 1900s.
Really?
Yeah, about
a little bit like There Will Be Blood.
Similar, but there was the robber barons on the East Coast, and then there was someone, Cleveland Osgood, in Colorado, who was sort of like this rich guy, ran everything, but he was trying to do it a little differently than the robber barons.
Really?
And it was one of those things like Casino, where it's
you got this from a book, right?
I read a lot of stuff.
So this sounds like you got a lot of knowledge here from something.
So it's sort of like Casino, the movie, where they talk about they wanted to build this sort of little mini empire, but they mismanaged it so bad that it's like, oh, they never gave guys like that anything like that ever again. But then what happened? The corporations took over, and they're probably worse than the mafia is.
True.
All right, well, that's our time with legendary porn director Vilan Trub. That would have worked better than
had
just
the
he had your
mustache.
mustache.
Yeah.
He just shaved his
He shaved his
mustache,
porn mustache
which
off.
made him look like...
Now I'm the director, not the
yeah.
director, the actor.
But listen, man, this has been fun. Thank you for coming through, stopping through, and blessing up the Velvet Sugar podcast.
Thank
man.
you so much. Thank you for having me.
When
Finally.
when do you think Mamochka is going to be released? What do you think?
I
Can you
don't
give
know.
the audience...
Distributor, I don't even know everything. I can't even issue anything without them clearing
Look for it
first.
this winter?
Yeah. So who canceled before you asked me?
Oh, no, nobody. Nobody. List of 3 people. No, you were the first for this one, actually.
Yeah. It was awesome having you, man. Sharing it. I'm sure this is
But check out
well.
Trub Film for the release of Mamochka. We're all in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have put a cameo of yourself in there, like some, you know.
My
That's the
voice
best
might
part.
be somewhere in there. That's the most I'm willing to go. I don't want
Oh,
to put
nice.
myself in front of the camera. I want to be the wizard behind the curtain.
All right,
Well,
sounds
this
good. A
will be
humble
fun,
man.
This has been episode 29, guys. Thank you for tuning in.